Hello, I'm Joe Gailey, and I want to thank you for tuning in to another one of our educational webcasts on the subject of divorce and your business. Today we're going to be talking about the valuation of your business because this is a big topic of discussion and disagreement generally inside a divorce. A business is a generic term that's applied to groups of assets. And every business has different groups of assets. The business may have accounts receivable, that is money that's owed to them by customers. It may have buildings that it uses to run the business. It may have equipment it uses to operate the business. And many businesses have inventory that they have to sell to stay in business. All of this generically is considered a business, but for purposes of valuation, sometimes it has to be separated. And the reason is this: the single largest valued asset in a successful business by far is goodwill. So let's talk about what goodwill means. Goodwill is the premium you would pay above the fair market value of the assets being purchased for the benefit of having a turnkey business to walk into. For instance, let's say that you have a business, and this is a very simple example. Let's say that you have a business and the business has $100,000 worth of inventory and $50,000 worth of accounts receivable. Someone might actually pay you $500,000 for that business, including the inventory and the accounts receivable. That means that they would be paying $350,000 for the goodwill. That is for your name, for your reputation, for your telephone number, for anything that would help them retain those clients and those customers that that business has made over the years. Now, this goodwill may or may not be includable in your divorce. As your family lawyer has already told you, marital property is subject to equitable division in Georgia, which doesn't necessarily mean equal, but separate property is not. And over the years, there has always been a problem or much disagreement about whether goodwill is a separate asset that doesn't go into the valuation or whether it is a marital asset that is subject to equitable distribution. Finally, in the last few years, the Georgia Supreme Court has held that they sort of split the baby down the middle. They've held that if the goodwill is personal goodwill, it is a separate asset and is not a marital asset to be divided upon the dissolution of the marriage. However, if the asset is enterprise goodwill, it is a marital asset and the value can be divided. Now, what is the difference between personal goodwill and enterprise goodwill? Well, if you ask 5 different lawyers, you're liable to get 5 different answers. But it seems to me like the easiest answer to that is that personal goodwill is something that enhances your own reputation, whereas enterprise goodwill is something that enhances the reputation of a company. For instance, if you are a lawyer or a doctor or an engineer and you practice by yourself, you have no partners, well, whatever goodwill that you develop and whatever enhancement to your reputation that you get by doing good work and having your customers and clients like to use you, then that inures to you, not to an enterprise, and therefore it's personal goodwill. On the other hand, if you're a partner in a law firm, a partner in a medical firm, that goodwill, that enhancement goes to the firm. After you leave the firm, they're still going to have that reputation enhancement that you created while you're there. So that generally tends to be enterprise goodwill, which is a marital asset. Now, you need to have a frank discussion with your family lawyer about your particular circumstances early on, because this will be an educational process to convince the other side that your business, the biggest asset in your business, goodwill, is not subject to equitable distribution. Or you may want to educate the other side that it is subject to equitable distribution, depending on the circumstances. There are ways that your family lawyer can frame this and get it before the court, and they can discuss that with you in great detail by filing various motions that would restrict the ability of the determination of goodwill. But it is a very pressing issue, and it's one that is germane to most divorces where a business is involved. I want to thank you for tuning in to this edition of this educational webcast, and I want to ask you to please continue to view the others as we have several more on different aspects of business and divorce. And we hope that the information you get will allow you to have a better overview and will allow you to have better communications with your family lawyer, who then can better represent you in these matters. Have a good day.